was going to be a star. And so Gotti waged war with him through music.
Of all of this, again, Hernandez Govan, who's facing charges for first-degree murder, conspiracy, and attempted first-degree murder in connection to the shooting death of Memphis rapper Young Dolph in November of 2021.
Nearly 4 years since Young Dolph's tragic ending, a bombshell courtroom moment has brought the case roaring back into the spotlight. The biggest question still hanging in the air? Where on earth is Yo Gotti?
But at the same time, now he in hide mode because he can't even push that agenda. No, he can't sell no music. He can't sell himself.
He don't want to be.
Hernandez Govan, accused of being the mastermind behind the hit, has had his trial delayed over and over, shaking the streets of Memphis and rattling the entire hip-hop scene. And after some major new developments in court and the shocking homicide of Yo Gotti's own brother, Big Jook, Gotti's been ghosting the public. No charges have touched him, but the eerie silence, it's got everyone talking. Now both the courtroom and the internet are lit up with one thing in mind. Chapter 1, where is Yo Gotti? As the trial heats up, Gotti has gone completely quiet. No statements, no sightings, nothing. Meanwhile, during pretrial hearings, Hernandez Govan stood before the Memphis judge and dropped some serious heat. While he never said Gotti's name directly, he made weird, vague comments about outside convos and big money moves that had fans spiraling into full-blown conspiracy mode. And just like that, the internet exploded with one question: where's Yo Gotti hiding? Days turned to weeks, and fans started connecting the dots. The CMG boss suddenly dipped from the scene. He skipped major events, ducked out of interviews, and didn't even show face for promos involving his biggest artist, Moneybagg Yo. People noticed fast. Gotti, who's usually flooding Instagram with flashy reels, luxury flexes, and CMG victories, went completely dark. No updates, no stories, no fresh posts, not even a mention in the press. For a guy who never misses a chance to show off his empire, this silence, it's straight up suspicious. Yo Gotti's last post, still sitting untouched, while the comments section turns into a battle zone. Fans flooded it with wild theories and straight up demands for the truth. YouTubers, hip-hop bloggers, and Reddit sleuths pounced fast, breaking down every second of Hernandez Govan's courtroom statements like it was a Netflix true crime series. Hashtags like "Where is Yo Gotti?", "Subras CMG Silence", and "Young Dolph Trial" started trending in fan spaces from Memphis to Atlanta. Basically anywhere CMG has pull. Even Gotti's inner circle started acting weirdly quiet. His right-hand man and CMG's co-manager, usually out front when it's album season, went radio silent. And Black Youngster, the king of wild energy online, didn't post a thing. No jokes, no reactions, nothing. That's not just a coincidence, that's a pattern. But here's the real catch. This whole situation ain't just about paperwork or legal charges. It's about a weird silence in the heart of Southern hip-hop. Especially during a moment this hot, silence ain't always just staying low. It can be a statement. Some folks think Gotti's laying low for safety. Others think something big is coming. Just so it's clear, Yo Gotti hasn't been charged, hasn't been named a suspect, and his name ain't in any court documents tied to Young Dolph's ending. But let's be honest, optics matter. This is the same man who once shouted, "I am Memphis," and built a whole empire off always being in control. Now, crickets. And in a world where disappearing makes more noise than speaking up, that silence is loud. Blogs can't stop talking. Fan theories keep stacking. And in the public's eyes, Gotti's ghost mode has become a headline all on its own.
I was originally set to start on March 10th. It has now been pushed back to July of 2025.
Chapter 2, Hernandez Govan's past and the charges. Before his name went nation with street ties. But to law enforcement, he'd been on their radar for years. A Memphis native through and through, Govan wasn't originally seen as the main player in the homicide of Young Dolph. But things changed, fast. Everything flipped in late 2022 when prosecutors pulled the curtain back on a way deeper investigation than anyone expected. In November of that year, Hernandez Govan was hit hard, indicted by a grand jury on 3 heavyweight charges: first-degree homicide, attempted first-degree homicide, and conspiracy to commit first-degree assassination. According to Shelby County DA Steve Mulroy, Govan wasn't just involved. He was the one calling the shots in the ending of Young Dolph. The assassinating went down on November 17, 2021, right outside Makita's Homemade Cookies in South Memphis, a spot Dolph was known to visit often. Prosecutors claim Govan didn't pull the trigger himself, but he was allegedly the one who orchestrated the whole thing. Court filings suggest he played a behind-the-scenes role, setting up the play, arranging the moves, and handing out orders that led to the deadly ambush. And here's what really shook people. Govan's indictment came almost a full year after Dolph's assassination. That delay showed just how tangled this whole case really was. Investigators had to dig through layers of connections and shadowy moves just to reach this point. Now check this. Hernandez Govan wasn't just a name from the streets. In Memphis, people also knew him as the father of LA Cash Desto, a rising female rapper who was tight with Lil Uzi Vert. But in a tragic twist, Destiny Desto Govan was shot and ended in Houston, Texas in September 2022, just weeks before her dad's indictment. While Houston police haven't linked her assassinating to the Dolph case, the timing was way too close for people not to start asking questions. Online chatter exploded with theories. Some folks swear the two tragedies are connected, but so far, no official sources have confirmed any direct link between the two deadly events.
No, sir.
Yet, public records revealed something major. Law enforcement had been watching Hernandez Govan for months before they finally made their move.
Joe, 43-year-old Hernandez Govan, who was just indicted in the rap star's slaying, along with Johnson and Cornelia Smith, once lived just a few houses down.
During pre-trial hearings, prosecutors dropped the bomb that they've got cell phone pings, text messages, and even recorded convos as key pieces of evidence. The full wiretap files haven't been released yet, but the state claims those communications connect Govan directly to the people involved in plotting the hit on Young Dolph. Govan's sticking to his story. He's pleaded not guilty to all 3 charges and is still waiting on his trial. But what really set the city off? He got out on $90,000 bond early in 2023. That move triggered outrage from Dolph's supporters and shook folks across Memphis. Still, the bond came with tight restrictions, GPS ankle monitor, and limits on how much he could show face in public. Inside the courtroom, Govan's lawyers have kept pushing the same angle. There's no physical evidence that ties him to the scene of the crime, and no proof he gave the final green light. But prosecutors aren't backing down. They continue to paint Govan as the man behind the curtain, the puppet master, calling shots from the shadows and lining up the pieces that led to Dolph's execution. Right now, the full case file is still sealed. Nobody outside the courtroom has seen all the receipts. But from what's been revealed in court motions and select media coverage, the streets can't stop talking. And Govan's name is right at the center of a slaying case that's still shaking the entire hip-hop game from Memphis to beyond. Chapter 3, Courtroom Chaos. What Hernandez Govan really said. When Govan showed up for one of his first major hearings, folks expected a standard court day. You know, plea entries, basic motions, maybe a few arguments over bail. But what actually went down had the whole courtroom shook and got the internet buzzing again. During his early 2023 bond hearing, Govan and his legal team pushed hard for a bond reduction,